Hey folks, Dave Drawing here. We're here to talk about Beat Saber handles. Now, I know we all have handles that come with our Oculus Quest 2s, but I'm talking about the extension handles, the ones that make it feel like a real saber, or well, more like a real saber. Some people like the idea, some people don't like the idea, but I'm intrigued by it, and I thought I'd give it a go. So I looked around online. I tried to find some Beat Saber handles. But they only make the kind I want for the Oculus One and the Rift S, as far as I can see. I'm sure there's lots of others. I'm sure somebody somewhere has found them. I'm talking about what I have found. All I could find were ones for those. Now, the reason they don't have the kind I want, or what the kind I want is they have, well, let me just show you. These are handles that attach to the controller by putting the controller inside, and then you hook to it inside, and this little twisty knob tightens down and holds it in place. That's what I want. But they don't sell these for these. They only sell the kind that have a little bungee cord that comes up and hooks on, or they have a little Velcro strap that comes with a hook, and then you got this strap thing running down. And does it really matter? No, it doesn't really matter. It's an aesthetics thing. I don't like the way it looks. I don't want to run into it if I'm, you have to choke up on the thing to use it for other, functions or whatever. Yeah, you don't push any buttons for Beat Saber, but you do have to go in and select stuff. And that's why I want to do this, and I don't want to worry about what is attached to what and what's going to get in my way. So I want the kind that does this. Now, you might say, well, hey, Dave Drawing, how is it you seem to have them? There's the secret. I kind of like getting stuff that people tell me I cannot use with something, and then making it where I can. See my post about the silicone muffs and the halo strap, if you want to see what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. This is, if you send for these, you get them in a little box like this. And I know it's backwards because, hey, low tech. But Beat Saber handles, they cost, like, I think $26 or something like that. And it seemed like it was worth it. So I got them, checked it out. They've got some instructions with pictures, like it is. And, it explains it pretty well. And the way it works is, because I was really wondering myself, the way these work, and I think what I'll do is break them down. I wanted to show you these so you saw what we were dealing with, but I'm going to pause this and break them down so that you can see exactly how it works. So bear with me for just a moment. All right. Now, through my super duper editing process, which is pause and unpause, I've got one of these ready to go. So the first thing you have to do, the first thing you need to understand how these work is, there's a string inside the little handle, and it's attached to the little cranky device. And in the middle of the string, if you can see up there, there's a little metal tube that the string goes through. Now, I do not have a Rift S or a Quest 1, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that the attachment of the string to the original, the controllers in those other models is different and looks more like that. It's because, and I have discovered that the reason that the advertisements say that these handles will not work for the Quest 2 is because the way the string is attached. Now, getting back to the string on the original controllers, I've seen some posts where some of you folks don't like the string, don't need the string, don't want the string, and you're just cutting it off. That's not a great idea. Now, I know you own it. You can do whatever you want with it. You want to cut this part off, go for it. No, don't do that. But the string doesn't need to be cut off. It's bad for your warranty. It's bad for, if anybody else wants to use it, it's bad for loaning it to somebody or letting someone else play it. They don't have a string and they throw it through your TV or through your window. It should have a string. If you don't want to use them, just take them off. Some people have trouble opening the little battery case. The way I do it is I put my thumb right on where this little sticker is. I've still got my sticker. It's probably going to be gone soon, but you press down right where that the R or L is on there, and then you put your thumb at the top of this area and you push that way. So if you push in on this and push down on that, it comes off just like that. See? Then you case it off. I know that's simple, but not for everybody, because I have seen posts where people have trouble getting it off. I've seen posts where people don't even know that it comes off or that you need to take it off, and suddenly one day, after a few weeks or whatever, their controllers stop working. Oh, you mean there's a battery in there? Hey, we all have, different questions, all right? So the way the string thing works is it pops out like that. Some people take that cover off and they don't even notice that that's removable. You look at it and think, well, that's just where the string goes in, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off. So you don't need to do that. As you can see, it very easily just comes out, and you're left with this little doodah on the end of the string and this hole. Now, that little thing on the string of the new handle isn't going to stay in that little hole. That's the problem. So what are you going to do? Well, I says to myself, so just put that thing back in, okay? Put it back where it goes, put the cover back on, and look, it's just like it was when you got it. Still got a string, which is removable, not necessary to cut it. Somehow we have to marry this thing with this thing. How do we do that? It's really complicated. I just put it back together to make a point, but the best way, at least my best way, you take the bloody cover off, the doggone cover, and you're left with this, because what the important thing is, we're going to just tie this string to this string. And that sounds super simple, but you don't want to just tie it on there and have all this extra, because this tightening doodad only has so much travel inside the shaft. So you want to make sure it's, unscrewed all the way. Well, not all the way. So it comes out. Well, it does unscrew all the way. Doggone it. I didn't know that. So don't twist it all the way off, folks, because guess what? It'll come out, but it goes right back in. As long as it's threaded in, there's like a little nut kind of doodad inside there. Whew, boy. Making myself look real good. So anyway, you want not tied to the end of the string, but you want to tie it to the end that goes into the handle, okay? That makes sense? Okay. So what I do is I slip it through the little string that comes out of here, and you want to tie this. Make sure the little adjuster thing is all the way to the far end, like this, the opposite end of the part that goes into the handle. And then you want to tie it so that the knot is as far up against the little attachment point as you can get. So you just make a super duper Boy Scout knot there. No, not really, just a real super simple, like tie your shoes kind of knot. No, I don't know what it's called. I'm sure someone will tell me. And then you just kind of scooch that knot so it's right up nice and snug against that bad boy like that, okay? So when you're done, it's attached to the string that comes out of the handle as close to the little plastic doodah as you can get. And once you got that snug down under nice, you don't have to super pull it, because it'll tighten as it pulls on itself. Just get it snug down, and then you take that little plastic thingamajig and you put it right back where it goes. And you did a good job if it's hard to get in, because that means your knot is really super duper close to the end, and you might have to kind of pull down on the knot a little bit to make sure it goes in. So when you're done, you put your little case cover back on, and you want it to have a knot that's real close to where it goes into the controller, like that, okay? All right. Now, what do you do with all this? You just kind of stuff her down in there. Stuff all the extra down inside. Get all that string in there. And as you do it, I kind of pull back on the rod so it's extended. That way you don't have any slack in there getting caught. When I was doing this, I got some slack of the original string caught between the controller and the inside of this little cup, and it didn't tighten down right. So also, you want the buttons, the controllers, and everything of your the buttons of the controller facing where the little R and L is. See, on one side it's got a little letter. I don't know if it's going to show up in this or not, but there's an R there and an L in the other one, of course. And anyway, you want it facing that way, because that's how the instructions say to do it. So you mush her down in there nice and tight, and then you commence to spinning the knob. Now, it's a nice long threaded knob. It has to be so that you can get the end out. But I found as long as you can turn it by the threaded part, and it seems to go in a little faster. You have to go and take a little potty break, get yourself something to drink, whatever you need to do while I work on this part. It takes a while. So if you get one and you feel like, gosh, I've been turning this thing forever, is there something wrong with it? No, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a really long threaded rod that's required for the function. So you just keep turning it, and eventually you see there's a little white padded thing here on the end. Right there. You want that kind of like sealing something shut. You want that to be smooshed up against the bottom. Make sure you don't get the strap caught in there. And you just keep cranking. You keep cranking. Yep. And eventually, like I say, keep mushing down on that so it's in there nice and snug. And you'll feel it start to get a little tighter. Now, you don't want to over tighten it. It very clearly, semi-clearly says it in the loosely translated instructions, not to over tighten the string so it doesn't mess it up. So you tighten it down, you'll feel it start to get nice and snug there, and that's good. And as you can see, that bad boy is in there. It's not going anywhere. It's attached by its own safety cord and attachment point, which obviously is engineered to withstand a lot of abuse. It's got a nice squishy grip. It's got little lines in it for it's not going to slide in and out of your hand that easily. You got to make sure you line up. Like I said, the side with the buttons on the controller needs to be lined up with the letter here. But then you're done. And you got two extended lightsabers, or I'm sorry, not lightsabers. George Lucas is going to come after me. Beat Saber handles. Well, of course, now Beat Saber might come after me. But I'm endorsing a product that makes their stuff better, so hopefully they're not going to sue me. But this is how it works, and I did try them a couple of songs on Beat Saber, and it's really kind of cool. They give you a little longer blade, actually, because it's extended out like several inches, at least 4 or 5 inches from where they would be if you were holding them in your hands. So when you're swinging, you got a little more reach where you can chop those blocks. And I like them. Like I said, they got the safety strap, so you can hook them to yourself, and if you was to lose your grip, they won't go flying. And I've heard people say they're too heavy. I've heard people say it messes up their timing. I've heard lots of complaints about them, but there's going to be complaints about everything. Personally, I like them. I think they're going to make gameplay more fun. I personally don't like playing with the controllers in their regular position, because I always feel like if you're not holding it just with 2 fingers like that, you got to be mashing buttons. And I think, well, I'm running my batteries down in my controllers if I hold it with all 4 fingers, because you're mashing 2 of the buttons just to do that. And that always bugs me, and I'm always thinking about it when I'm playing. And I think now, with these handles where I don't have any buttons to worry about, I'll be able to concentrate more on chopping blocks than, accidentally pushing buttons or whatever. So I think that about covers it. If you got any questions or anything, feel free to shoot me a message and ask me, and I will put a link somewhere. I'm kind of new at this, so bear with me, folks. But I'm going to somehow attach a link to this, well, not to the video, but, to the post. And so you can see where I got them, which ones I got, and you can see how easily they are. They're not even modified, really. They're just hooked differently to these controllers. And I know they look like they're at a weird angle, but they're always at a weird angle. But when you get in the game, they point out. And I guess that angle is actually adjustable inside the game, but I didn't have to adjust anything. I just fired that thing up and went to swinging. So hope this was informative. Hope it helped you make a decision about whether or not you want to get these guys. I'm glad I got them, and I'm glad I held out for the little cranky wheel kind. Whoops, nice save. Uh, because I didn't want the little, scrappy things. So that's it. Until next time, Dave Drawing saying poke.